Hi everyone, it's Josh and Simon here. You're watching Time Zones and Time Meters. This week we're going to be looking at what we've been looking at or listening to over the last month. It should be hopefully pretty interesting. Simon, do you want to kick us off with what have you been listening to? How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I was worried. I was worried today because it was we switched to summertime in Europe
Mm.
or bigger parts of Europe. Do you do anything like that?
Yeah, we have our daylight saving switching
Oh yeah.
soon. I think it's not for a little while, but we will too. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
So did you go forwards or backwards?
We went backwards, so it is earlier than the time says it is,
Yeah, okay,
right?
got
Yeah. Yeah.
it.
And I guess it's
Yeah.
the other way around on the southern hemisphere. You get to sleep in a little bit.
Yeah, until it flips back the other way, right?
Yeah. 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 All right. Well, my what I've been listening to lately, we of course had the last episode where we were talking about it was the first episode with those important albums, the game changers for us,
Yep.
and so I mentioned the Beatles, and then I felt like, oh yeah, I want to revisit that, and and it was also something that we said like, well, this has not to become a chore for us, a chore. So because I was thinking a little bit like, hey, it's not Prague. Can I listen to this? And I thought, oh yeah, man, fuck that. I'm gonna listen to whatever I want. And then Beatles, of course, were only active for 10 years ish. And to be honest, those first years I don't really care that about much about. So the discography ends pretty soon. And then you sit there, we're going like, what am I supposed to listen to now? And that's when I try to keep that a little bit into those first, like that switch from um, psychedelic to prog. Those first prog albums is what I spent some time with. So of course, the classic In the Court of the Crimson King by King Crimson, but also those early Pink Floyd albums, Wishbone Ash, also some pure psychedelic rock like Jimi Hendrix and Jefferson Airplane. Um, yeah, and to be honest, not a lot of new stuff here, but I really like took a deep dive into 1969 plus minus 2 years. And yeah, I did discover some new stuff, like the debut album from Alice Cooper. I had not heard before. That's it's very different from what you think about when you think Alice Cooper. And and also I discovered that in Zambia there's been like a psychedelic scene in the 70s that so it's even given a name, Zamrock, and they have bands like Witch and Peace, and it's kind of lo-fi. It's not the best recording as one would expect with something in Africa in the 70s, right? But it's pretty good. I can recommend Zamrock as a genre. It's
Yeah,
and
that's awesome. See, this is why I love this. I love this meeting of the minds because this is where I find out heaps of stuff I'd never thought of. That's cool. That sounds really interesting as well.
yeah, yeah. So I guess that was my first uh, deep dive of the last weeks. Yeah.
Yeah,
What about
okay.
what
Yeah,
about you, Joe?
cool. So I've been continuing listening to Charlotte Wessels. I think it was one of the prog sites online. They voted this the album the like best debut album of 2024, and I'd never heard of her or heard of them, and so I decided to look them up. The album's called The Obsession, and to tell you the truth, it really kind of has been. In the last month, I'm just having a look at my last FM plays. I've listened to the album, 158 tracks according to Spotify. So I've given this a really good, solid like run through. There's some really cool songs in it as well. It's kind of so I guess where you probably started. She's a the main singer is unbelievable. They're from, I'm just trying to, they're Dutch actually, so they're claimed here as being a symphonic metal band. Um, and Charlotte Wessels is like basically starting her like solo career and experimenting with a few different genres too. So look, it's got some heavy sort of guitar work and some really sort of up and down sort of high pitched vocals, and it sort of works in a big contrast between sort of that deep dark sound and then her sort of trilling about the place, which is pretty cool. So I've enjoyed it. I don't know how, like, I understand why people really like it. It's pretty accessible. It's pretty easy to listen to too. There's a few growls in there for those that are interested in it as well. I think the third song's called like "The Exorcist" or something, and or "The Exorcism," and that's got some pretty cool stuff in it. But the opening track on the album, I'd recommend listening to it. It's called "Chasing Sunsets." If you liked, if you like it, then it's for you. It's got some really sort of poppy hooks and stuff as well, and I'm a bit of a sucker for that kind of thing. But that's been probably the major listening album. I'm kind of getting to the end of it as well. So as far as I'm concerned, I've explored it enough to kind of go, yeah, cool, awesome. I'll put that to the side and listen to that again another day. But I'm going to start actually jumping into some of the stuff you said last time. I'm gonna delve into some of your backstory. So that'll be for next month, I hope. What
Shallow
else have you been doing?
vessels.
What was that?
Shallow vessels. What was the band called?
Oh, her name is Charlotte,
Oh,
which is the
Charlotte.
name, like female name, Charlotte and Wessels. Yeah, so it's Wessels. Sorry, Wessels.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, Charlotte Wessels.
The obsession.
Yeah, yeah. So that should be easy enough to remember the obsession,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what did you do? After you finished off doing your sort of delve into the late 1960s psychedelic stuff? Where did you go next?
Yeah, then well, of course, what released in March, both Steven Wilson and Jethro Tull released new albums this month.
Yep.
And it is both of those, it's both artists that I have listened to, but I have never really explore the full discography of these bands or these this artist and these bands. And to be honest, uh, I don't really make a distinction between Stephen Wilson and Porcupine Tree because it's so much Stephen Wilson in Porcupine
Yeah.
Tree that yeah, you know. Um, so what I did was I also took a deep dive in both the Porcupine Tree and the rest of Stephen Wilson's discography, and I think I have listened to everything now. Jethro Tull is also kind of a it's not something you just do in an evening. Go through the Jethro Tull discography. I think he has, or once again, 21 albums or something like that. And of course, I think the last 15 years it's more of a Ian Anderson solo project than I think he could have released them in his own name, but Jethro Tull probably sells better, right?
Yeah.
And but yeah, and I mean I do like both of the new albums. I think I prefer the Steven Wilson album over the Jethro Tull album, but I also like the Jethro Tull album. But what really made an impression of me was going through these discographies with the gems that really are in those discography. And I would say the highlights there is well, actually the classic run of Jethro Tull from Benefit to A Passion Play. Those four albums, you have a what is it? A Benefit, um, Aqualung, Thick as a Brick, and A Passion Play. Those four albums I adore. I think are top-notch stuff. I know some people don't really like A Passion Play, especially the thing with the spectacles, the rabbit with the spectacle. I love that album. I think it's an awesome album. And um, with Stephen Wilson, I think Hand Cannot Erase and To the Bone. Those are my two favorites. To the Bone are considered is considered a bit of his pop album. I don't think it's any less because of it's a pop album. I mean, it's a art pop, art prog, art art rock. You know, it's a little bit
Yeah.
uh, what I usually come back to with Peter Gabriel. It's a little bit that style of music, right? Yeah,
Mm,
I
yeah.
I, I think it's a yeah. I was very pleased with going through the discographies of these two artists.
Yeah, that's cool. I definitely checked out. Is it Curious Ruminant? I think it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
So I checked it out. I played it through maybe two or three times, and there was definitely some stuff in it that I liked. There was also a few things that I found a little bit like I struggled with the lyrics, and
Mm.
also just I don't know if there's something about the production of his voice, his vocals in it, which are a little bit like oh,
I,
you
I'm
know. But
look.
in saying that,
His voice is not strong, and his vocal register or he cannot really reach the high notes. He's kind of struggling with the low notes as well. So it's very compromised, and uh, it works on some songs, but in some songs it doesn't work.
yeah,
I don't know how
and
much
some
of
of
it's
it. Lyrically, I was just going to say some of it I struggled with just, I don't know, it was hard to take it serious, because of the choice of words and the
all right.
phrasing and some of that stuff too. However, I'm willing to, like, I'm definitely going to go back to it. I haven't, like, ruled it out. For me, I'm not as experienced when it comes to his discography. I do quite like Songs from the Wood. So I'm quite a big fan of that album itself. And I think that was a real standout when I did check out some of his other stuff. And I think I might have mentioned that to you in one of my like Instagram
Yeah,
other
you
Instagram
did,
posts or
and
something. Yeah,
I checked it out, but it was not up there with those four
yeah,
my
yeah,
four
yeah,
favorites. But it's fine, it's
yeah.
fine.
And I think that's why I'm keen to go back and check this new one out and check back his old stuff again and just sort of make a bit more of a sound reading after giving it a little bit of time as well. And
Yeah,
Stephen Wilson, well, Porcupine Tree is the band that I absolutely some of my favorite tracks are done by Porcupine Tree, right? And so like Trains or there's a few of them, but that specifically I really, really, really like some of the stuff they do, but I also end up finding some of it a bit lackluster. So I haven't delved as far, like I always find I delve in and then I stop. And then I
right,
delve in and then I stop. And then I always find something. I always find something I just go, oh, I love that. But then just sort of like do. So I feel like I have to work at finding the stuff that I fall in love with that he does.
right,
On that note, though, I did get tickets. He's coming to Australia this year, at the end of this year. So I got tickets. So it means I've got a mission
all
myself
right.
in
Yeah,
future
yeah, yeah.
months. So I'm going to
But
explore everything then too. So
but I also think like it's also kind of nice to not be too prepared and go to a show, right? And then you get a totally different experience.
yeah,
Yeah, depends a little
I
bit
had
on
that.
where you want to be in the audience, right? I mean, if you heard
Yeah.
everything, you want to be in the front. Otherwise, you might want to stand back and you know discover it.
Whenever I think of that, I think of the band Leprous. I first saw Leprous at a prog sort of festival in Australia in Sydney, and a friend of mine's like, "You got to check this band out. That's why I'm going. You got to come along." I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm all up for that. That sounds great." And so I went along, watched them, and was just like, "What the fuck is this? Like, this is
Right? Yeah,
amazing."
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
so I was a little bit confused at the same time too, because especially with some of the beginnings of their tracks, you just go, "What are they doing?" Right? But like especially bands like songs like "The Sky Is Red," for example, or a few of those tracks. Anyway, long story short, I was kicking myself afterwards that I didn't explore their discography before I saw them
Yeah.
because I recognized in the moment they were that good, like mind-blowingly good. And so when I saw them last year, I was good. Like 5 years later, I'm a huge Leprous fan, and when they came to Australia, I got a chance to really, really, truly appreciate it, sing along to the songs, and act like an idiot. But anyway, we're talking about this month, and this month, although I did listen to a little bit of Leprous. Yeah, I did a little bit of Jethro Tull. I haven't done the Stephen Wilson one yet, though, that you have. But I jumped onto a band that I've been meaning to listen to for a while called Calandra. And Calandra have an album called A Frame of Mind, and this is a really, really solid and fantastic album. Like I have fallen in love with it, and I'm very happy to say that I'm like where Charlotte Wessels, I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I like this band specifically, and the songs in this album I've fallen in love with. It's kind of got this folk singer, I guess you'd kind of put it. And like I don't know how to explain it. I think if you looked up the album, you checked it out, a frame of mind it was, you'll see a very sort of vulnerable, sort of haunting sort of lyrics, which are I think of this time as well. A little bit hippie in some respects, but I love that. And I'm a big big believer in us fessing up for I don't know like trying to aspire to be better as human beings, and it definitely has that kind of theme behind it too. Sort of acknowledging that the world's pretty shit sometimes, and can we be better is kind of the message that I love listening to. So that was cool, and I can highly recommend that to anyone who's sort of likes female singers who like have that sort of folk feeling behind it. So that's I'm definitely going to be exploring their other stuff too. It was great.
How are you with? Because I was thinking about that the other day. Sorry if kids are screaming in the background. I don't know how much is getting recorded of that. Do you hear anything of that?
A little bit,
A
but
little bit.
you
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
if people have
Well,
issues with it, they're
yeah,
kids.
that's the case. Oh well, the with lyrics. I mean, of course, I speak English as you hear, but I'm not a native speaker, so I think I register a little bit less of the lyrics. Like cringy lyrics can get past me sometimes, some not always. Um, and I do also recognize that with most artists, at least, I don't really spend any. I don't uh, spend any time with the lyrics or give them any attention until I've heard the music a couple of times first. I don't know how that is for you. Can you?
I'm shocking when it comes to lyrics, but I hear bits, and as soon as I have listened to it enough, that's when I usually start to. So I'd say like four or
Yeah,
five plays through something,
yeah,
I start
same.
to listen for the lyrics themselves, unless there's something that's really spectacular about them. And I would say that with this album, from the get go, I was enamored by this sort of beautiful, vulnerable, sort of fragile voice that really sort of conveyed such a sincere message. And so for me, it was very quick to jump on the
Right.
lyrics in this
Yeah. Well,
instance. But
with some vocalists, you are more drawn to hear what
yeah,
they are saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that
And
that that's me. That's me. So some of my favorite bands, I can sing parts of their songs, but have no flipping idea what they're singing about,
right,
in other
right.
parts
Yeah.
of it. So,
And of
but
course with some like uh, with Fish from Marillion, then immediately my attention goes to what is he saying, but he of course also expresses it in the way he's singing, right? It's very uh, yeah, and I of course love when singers really are thinking about what they are singing. Yeah, yeah, lyrics are fun. I'm in no way a poet. You know, I'm not very good with that stuff. Interpreting, I see interpretations of lyrics and I think, oh damn, I didn't think about that. Now it makes sense, right? But I would never have come up with that myself. Yeah, but it's fun. It's fun with lyrics. But I let it to the professionals, you know. Yeah.
so what else did you check out?
Well, the last one of my listenings is well, I was promoting our podcast or YouTube channel a bit, and uh, and then we got contributions uh, from like, would you mind listening to this? Would you mind listening to that? And So there's two like one man projects, I believe, both of them that I've been listening to. The first one is kind of from my neck of the woods. There's a Norwegian guy. He has a band called Ozul or Ozul. Is it? and I had actually heard this before. So I mean, obviously, I think it is pretty good because I have kind of um, uh, a tough selection thing if you want to be on my rotation. Like I have this backlog. I usually add two songs to it. If I want to hear more, I add more. I add the album. Right? But otherwise, if I feel at some point, oh, I will switch to something else, then I just take it out of my backlog. And yeah, his first album. Oh, now I got to check out what it was called. Um, but that got stuck with me. His second, I have, of course, not yet listened as much to, but it is absolutely regarding production a lot better. Sonically, way better than the first one. And I would say that it is a little bit. You can hear that it's Norwegian. It's a little bit in the same genre as Leprous, I would say. Um, like there's a lot of synthesizer or you know those like there's almost a little bit of techno incorporated in it, like how the latest Leprous album is, you know, that fusing those two genres quite a bit. Um, of course, he doesn't have Einar on vocals, and so it's not a fair comparison, right? Uh, and so I mean,
It's
if
gonna
you're
be hard.
expecting to hear Leprous, you're not going to hear that. But yeah, it is a different kind of genre. Like, oh, it's not a Leprous copy or anything. But if I have to say that it's sounds a little bit like something or is in the same category of something, I would say like modern Leprous, and
Was
I like that.
this the album Man on the Shore?
Right. Yeah. That's the one. That's
Yeah,
the one.
okay. I played through it. I played through it twice now, so it's very early days for me. And I wasn't sure what to expect. Like I was thinking, oh, is this going to be sort of very amateur-y? But it seems like it's really put together like really well. Hey, so I haven't got made any judgments yet, other than just I was surprised on the first listen, and so I've definitely got it on. I'll play it back over, you know, when I get the opportunity.
Yeah.
I'll definitely play that up as well.
I have to say I've also not spent too many listens. I think something like that as well. But I thought it was fun to well, maybe he promoted himself on the same channels as me. You know, that's why I come across him before. But yeah, I thought it was fun. And the second one was actually more your neck out of the woods. Although I think the second half of I think it was like Perth region, so the quite opposite side of town, right? And
Yep.
this is a project that is called the Twisted Mile. Do you know that? Nah.
Never
It's
heard of them.
and I would say that it's very proggy. It's I would say Steven Wilson meets Liquid Tension experiment maybe. Like
Right.
it is complex. It's very musically complex, but it's not really getting wanky. It can really get slowed down and atmospheric, uh, almost like post rock or ambient almost at times. But it can also be
Yep.
very high intensity and uh, you know a lot of stuff that is not 4/4, if I put it like that.
Yeah, right.
Um, and I think the only criticism there that I have is that maybe some tracks are not really following each other in a way that you would want to. Like you really
Hmm.
get immersed in a certain kind of mood, and then the song ends, and then
And then
start
boom.
something in a complete different mood. But yeah, I would absolutely recommend this as well. So the Twisted Mile and the album is also called the Twisted Mile. I think with both of these bands, they have I think not more than 100 listeners on Spotify. So this is some really obscure stuff. But and I also think that the reason for this is that I think they both might lack those really catchy moments, which does not make it worse, but it of course has the thing that you're not going to be able, you're not going to sit and think, oh yeah, that song, I want to hear that song again, because you don't always remember what it sounded like what the melody sounded like. They don't have that, like Leprous. They have those super catchy pop choruses, right?
Mm.
It could be on a Eurovision or something, you know.
You
But
should you should apply. You should apply as the backup singer.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that
no,
was
let's
great.
not. But that is of course then sometimes you sit and then you got that song in your head and you think, oh yeah, I'm gonna listen to Leprous, right? Because it's so catchy, and I think both of these projects, yeah, of course they don't have that, so that they might lose some listeners on that. It doesn't make the content any less, but it might do something with the popularity of it.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I just did a quick search on Mr. Google here. It says they are from Perth, Western Australia, and it
Right.
looks like there's quite a few Rush fans that think they're pretty good. So, but there's, as you said,
It's
there's not
good.
too much on it. But when I'm thinking of Western Australia, I'm thinking of, generally speaking, some pretty fantastic progressive acts have come out of there. So I'd be keen to check them out too, especially because fingers crossed they might do a bit of a tour, and I'm always keen to see
Right.
bands,
Right.
you know. So,
And
that'd be
that's that,
cool.
but that is of course the other thing with one man projects. I don't know if is it a one man project? Do you see
Right.
that on Google as well?
I just have to.
Because
Whoop.
how are you going to pull that off live? Uh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point. I didn't quite realize. It says it's a rock band hailing from Perth, Western Australia,
Okay.
set to make its mark on the scene.
Well, in that case,
Doesn't doesn't say. Intense, handcrafted, complex music drawing from a range of genres. The band's musical influence are broad, everything from Rush, King Crimson to Led Zeppelin, Mogwai, Mastodon, Queens of the Stone Age. That's cool.
that's funny
Apparently,
that
Brendan.
they
I
all
was just going
mention
to say,
bands, but the
Brendan.
two I was thinking about was Steven Wilson and Liquid Tension Experiment, and they are not mentioned there. So obviously they it's
Yeah,
quite broad.
yeah. But they also draw their influences from those sorts of bands too, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah,
of course.
right. It says that Brandon Ward is the guitar, vocals, and synths. Um, and with band members, including some Western Australia's finest musicians. So it looks like there's a few people who are part of the thing too, but he looks like he's sort of running the show.
Right.
Yeah, cool. I've got just, I mean, I've always listening to lots of different things, so it's not like I've got just three things normally to listen to,
Same, same,
but there,
same.
yeah, but there is a few, like there is three main bands that I probably would say that I've kind of was looking at. This other one's kind of a bit of a, I don't even know how to explain it. I guess it's kind of like a sci-fi kind of band. I saw it on a recommended by, I think it was Rhyme Signatures on YouTube. He recommended. I think it was one of the better albums released in since 2020 or something. It's called Parius. I think it's pronounced Parius.
Oh yeah,
And have you heard of them? And the
yeah.
album is The Signal Heard, I think it's called, or The Signal Heard Throughout Space. So look, it's definitely a concept album. It's funky, it's different. I'm just starting to, I think, unpack it now. Like it's only just coming through. I'm probably about six listens into it, and I'm now starting to go. Oh, I'm recognizing these riffs. I'm liking things. It's becoming a lot more familiar to me now, and I'm definitely enjoying it. He does get a little heavy in some of the tracks for me vocally, but it doesn't seem to have dissuaded me too much. So I think it's something that I'm going to persevere through, and because I really, really, really like some of the sort of soundscape of this act. So I'm sort of excited to keep listening to this one. So next month, my plan is to continue listening to him,
Was it
probably on
the
that.
signal throughout space?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one
that
I
one.
heard as well.
Yeah, right. So I was just looking at the actual counts for how many times I've listened to it, and yeah, I've gone through it 5 times, and it looks like I've done half the album once as well, so 5, 6 times. But yeah, no, it's good. I quite enjoy it. It's definitely more for those people who do follow the sort of music that I listen to and enjoy that sort of the sort of more metal sounding stuff. I definitely recommend it. Check it out. And if you like the hard vocals, and that's one of the things you dislike about me, is that I don't tend to listen to a lot of sort of heavy stuff. Maybe this is your jam, because this is pretty cool. It's definitely cool.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I was intending to listen to more of that album as well. But yeah, that's the thing, right? There's so much to listen to.
and I'm also trying so goddamn hard to get through an audiobook at the moment as well.
Oh
So
yeah,
this last
I've given
month,
up on that stuff.
and oh, have you? Yeah, no, I do a like a daily commute, which is about so I drive about an hour and a half every day. So if it's not music, it's an audiobook. And one of my favorite authors released his last book in a big series, and I thought, yeah, I'll do that. And stupid me didn't realize that it was going to be what feels like hundreds of hours.
Yeah,
Like it's a
yeah.
fat book. I will buy it. I do read as well, of course, but I thought I'd do this one as an audiobook. But I feel like it's well, it's the I think the longest audiobook I've ever listened to. Let's put it
Oh
that way.
damn. Oh damn.
But
Yeah.
anyway, so that competed with my music choices and what I was listening to this month a little bit. But
Right.
I'll be finished it soon, and then I'll launch into a bit more. Yeah. So you said you're on. Was it just like a little getaway holiday with some friends again or something? Was it?
Right. Yeah. 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 So I'm in a different location than usually in a
Yeah.
vacation house that we rented over the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great. So, well, I was just going to wish you all the best. I know I don't want to keep you too long from your sort of family and friends,
No
but
worries.
thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate getting a chance to chat, catch up, talk music, of course. That's been great, and I've definitely got some takeaways from this one too.
Good. Good.
So,
Good. Me
I
too. Me too.
guess
Always.
just before we finish up, just for everyone listening at home, I just wanted to say that one of our goals is to create a community of like-minded progressive metal or music heads, because it's not just metal, of course. We're keen to share where they're from and help us spread great music recommendations around worldwide. You can find both Simon and I on Instagram. You can find Simon at Simon's Album Reviews, and you can find me by looking up the Prog Wanderer. And if you, we'll drop some links in the captions below too. And if you could, one of the coolest things you could do for us is just to be able to hit like and subscribe, of course. That'll help get us a little bit to the fore of the algorithm, if you will. And hopefully we'll be able to, meet more people, catch up with more people, and get a chance to, you know, find more music, right? That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you everybody, and I
Thank
guess
you.
Simon, we should probably call it there. Hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
thanks again, bud.
Thanks again. All
Have a good
right.
weekend.
Yes.
See you
Yeah,
guys.
you too. All right. Peace out.